You're replaceable, Mark. Never forget that. Those 6 words cut through me sharper than any knife could. She didn't shout them, they came out calm, deliberate, cruel. Her voice didn't tremble, her eyes didn't flinch. That made it worse. Because in that moment I realized she meant it. The woman I married 6 years ago, the one who used to look at me like I was her world, was gone. All that was left was someone I didn't recognize anymore. It started small, as most betrayals do. Late-night texts, hushed phone calls, excuses about extra shifts or girls' nights. I didn't want to be that guy, the paranoid husband counting every minute she was out. But when you've loved someone deeply, your gut knows when something's wrong. One evening, she came home smelling of cologne I didn't wear. New perfume? I asked. She barely looked up from her phone. You're imagining things. I laughed it off, but something inside me twisted. I could feel her slipping away, inch by inch, replaced by cold detachment and irritation at everything I said or did. The woman who once texted me just to say she missed me now couldn't even make eye contact. So I started noticing, watching, listening. Her phone, once left on the counter, now had a lock screen. She guarded it like it was nuclear codes. She started spending weekends visiting her mom, though her mom lived 20 minutes away. Then one night she came home at midnight, hair disheveled, lipstick smudged. You okay? I asked. She froze for half a second before forcing a smile. Just tired. I wanted to believe her so badly. I wanted to be wrong. But truth has a way of clawing through denial. And I felt it scratching inside me, desperate to get out. A few days later I found the proof. I'd left for work early but turned back after realizing I'd forgotten my laptop. When I walked through the door, her voice came from the kitchen. Soft, flirty. She wasn't alone. I stood silently by the hallway listening. I'll see you tonight, she said, her tone melting into a giggle I hadn't heard in months. He thinks I'm working late again. I stepped out before she could hang up. Her face drained of color when she saw me. Mark. Who were you talking to? Nobody. Just a coworker. I raised my hand. Don't lie to me. Her lips parted, searching for a story that wouldn't come. For a moment I thought I saw regret, but it flickered out as fast as it appeared. You're overreacting, she finally said. You've been so insecure lately, it's exhausting. Insecure? I repeated, trying not to lose it. I just heard you tell another man you'd see him tonight. She crossed her arms. So what if I did? Maybe I'm tired of pretending everything's fine when it's not. The air between us thickened. I could feel my pulse in my ears. Are you cheating on me? She didn't answer. And sometimes silence tells you everything you need to know. That night, she slept in the guest room. I didn't sleep at all. I stared at the ceiling until the sun came up, feeling like my chest had been hollowed out. By morning, I decided to confront her one last time. She sat at the kitchen table scrolling through her phone, completely unbothered. Do you love him? I asked. She looked up, a faint smirk on her lips. Does it matter? I clenched my jaw. It does to me. She sighed, as if I were the one inconveniencing her. Mark, look, people change. You're nice. Safe. But safe isn't exciting. You got comfortable and I got bored. I felt something inside me shatter. All those memories, our wedding vows, late-night drives, the way she'd fall asleep with her head on my chest, flashed before me like cruel taunts. So that's it? I asked quietly. 6 years and I'm just boring now? She shrugged. I guess so. The indifference in her tone hit harder than any confession could have. That's when I realized she'd checked out of this marriage long ago. And then came the words that ended everything. You're replaceable, Mark. Never forget that. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just stood there numb. Because when someone you love tells you you're replaceable, you stop fighting for their love, you start fighting for your dignity. I walked to the bedroom, grabbed a suitcase and started packing her things. She followed me, her tone sharp. What the hell are you doing? Helping you move out? Her eyes widened. You can't be serious. I zipped the bag shut. Dead serious. Mark, you're being ridiculous. We can talk about this later. No, I said, my voice steady for the first time in days. You don't get to cheat, belittle me, and then decide when we talk. You made your choice. She scoffed, trying to sound confident. You think you'll actually find someone better than me? I looked her dead in the eyes. I don't need someone better. I just need someone honest. She stared at me, maybe expecting me to break down to beg. But I didn't. I carried her suitcase to the front door and set it down. You have an hour to leave. When she realized I wasn't bluffing, her voice cracked. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said quietly. But at least I'll regret it with my self-respect intact. She hesitated for a moment, eyes glistening with something. Anger, shock, maybe fear. Then she grabbed her bag and walked out without another word. The moment the door clicked shut, I sank to the floor. Every ounce of strength I'd built to stay composed crumbled. I cried, not just for losing her, but for losing the version of us I'd believed in. The apartment felt unbearably quiet. The faint scent of her perfume lingered in the air like a ghost that refused to leave. I picked up my phone, opened the folder where I'd stored her messages, the ones I'd read over and over when I still thought she loved me, and deleted every single one. Then I opened my laptop, logged into my email, and contacted my lawyer. File for divorce, I typed. My hands were shaking, but my heart was steady. The next morning, I woke to a silence that no longer felt suffocating. I made coffee, sat by the window, and watched the sunrise. For the first time in weeks, it looked beautiful. I thought about what she said, that I was replaceable. Maybe she was right in her world, where love was conditional and loyalty was optional. But in mine, love still meant something. She may have replaced me, but I wouldn't let her define me. A week later, I got the call from my lawyer. Papers filed, process started. I signed without hesitation. Because sometimes losing someone isn't the worst thing. It's the moment you finally remember your worth. Months later, I saw her again. At the grocery store of all places. She looked startled when our eyes met, maybe even regretful. Mark, she said softly. You look good. Thanks, I replied. You too. There was an awkward silence before she spoke again. Do you ever think about us? I smiled faintly. Sometimes. Mostly to remind myself how far I've come. She looked away, biting her lip. Maybe she finally realized the weight of what she'd thrown away. I walked past her, leaving her standing there among the aisles, and for the first time I didn't feel pain, just peace. Because I wasn't replaceable. Not anymore.